right, y'all, so today we're gonna be talking about defensive driving and why it's just important to be ready for anything on the road, bro. Let me turn the AC up. We're gonna crack the windows a little bit so y'all get that whine a little bit. But like I was saying, we're gonna talk about defensive driving and why it's important just to be ready for anything on the road, because I had the craziest scenario happen. I went with one of my friends to go and get his one of my friends just got a Hellcat, and I went with him to go get that, and I was driving the Z01, of course, because we was like, let's take the Z01 to go pick up the Hellcat. It'd be real cool, right? So I want to say for us, this was probably about a whoops. But like I said, I did not expect that to dip like that. Not my brightest decision. But like I was saying, we went to go take the Z01, get the Hellcat. We was like, okay, cool, this would be a good idea. It'd be pretty cool. So boom, we're probably on the road. It's probably like a 2 to 3 hour drive from us, at least from his house. So we're on the road for like 2 to 3 hours. And like I said, we're on the road for like 2 or 3 hours. We're on the highway. It's a long drive, guys. So it's like this, but you guys see in a highway, but imagine on country roads. So there's nothing out there but the cars on the highway, and it's like trees and stuff like that. And I cannot make this up, y'all. I see what looks like a brown Chipotle bag flying on the highway, and it's like heading right towards me. And I'm like, what is the Chipotle bag doing on the highway? But I'm like, okay, it's just a Chipotle bag. If it happens to tap the car, no big deal, right? But then the Chipotle bag lands on the highway, and I see what I think is a Chipotle bag get up and start walking. And I'm like, bro, like no way, that's not a Chipotle bag, right? And it's only till I get this close as I am with this mailbox right now, and I swerve over, right? Boom, swerve. And then the Chipotle bag gets up and it jumps back, because the first thing that it sees is a bright red Z01 flying. And of course it gets scared and it jumps back, right? And it's not till I get as close as I just showed you guys, like I just was with that mailbox, that I realized it was a dog, bro. The dog flew out of someone else's car on the highway. I don't really understand why people kind of be on the highway and let their dogs kind of hang out the window, because in that situation it went bad. So the dog, it flew out this car or this truck, I'm assuming, and the first thing that it saw when it got up, because when the dog got up, he looked confused, like he didn't understand where he was at, and he was frightened. This isn't a big dog, y'all. This is like a little dog. Like, every girl has one of these dogs. You know that little white fluffy dog, the little white fluffy curly haired dog that every girl somehow has? It's one of them, right? So I see this dog and I'm like, bro, like, it's so crazy. But he jumps back, and I barely miss him by like a hair, and he jumped back, and then another car ended up hitting him because he jumped back into the other lane. And that's just so crazy, because if I wasn't looking at the road at that very moment, or I was on my phone or doing anything to distract me, I would have hit that dog head on, bro. And keep in mind, the Z01 sits low, so it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like no piece of the dog wouldn't have been hit, you know? That joint would have destroyed my front bumper and everything like that. But unfortunately, that was just a crazy situation. And I hate that someone lost their pet like that, man. I ain't want to see that dog go through that, man. We've talked about it during the whole day, because it's one of those things you can't make that up, bro. That's just crazy. But with that being said, too, I need to get a dash cam. On my 340, I had a dash cam. On the Z01, I do not have a dash cam. I need to get me a dash cam for this car. So definitely going to invest in a dash cam after that situation, because that's one of them things people wouldn't believe it. People don't believe it because they can't see it, and then everybody accuses us of hitting the dog, man. I try to be very on point when I drive to be able to avoid things like that, but I just really hate that happened. But that just go to show you got to be prepared for anything on the road, man. Just because you're driving and you know what you're doing doesn't mean everyone else knows what they're doing, bro. Because like, we sitting at this red light, our light could turn green and a car could fly down there and still run that light, you know? So you just got to be prepared. And I feel like a lot of people end up getting into like wrecks and stuff like that because they think we live in a perfect world, or they think just because they know what they're doing, everyone else knows what they're doing as well. It's just, you just got to be careful. Even when you go to like a four-way intersection or something like that, like, you might have the right of way, but this other person might not know you got the right of way. They might think they got the right of way. You know what I'm saying? And you just gotta be careful. But man, that was just one of the craziest things, bro. When it's just like, I really couldn't believe that happened. But on the positive side, my bro did end up getting the Hellcat. We had to do a whole lot of driving that day. Like I said, we drove like an hour or two from his house to go to the dealership. We had some issues with the financing, so we had to go to his bank, which was 3 hours from the dealership. And then we picked up one of our other friends on the way, because we ended up going back past his house on the way to the bank. And then we had to go back to the dealership from the bank. So we did a whole lot of driving around, and it was crazy. But long story short, man, he got the Hellcat, and we have not done no videos together yet. I was going to do a POV on the way back, but I ended up dropping my car off just because that drive is going to be entirely too many miles. I don't really care about putting miles on my car, but that was just entirely too many miles to put on it at once, especially for something that wasn't really for me. And we both have other cars. We could just take one of our cars that we don't mind putting miles on for something like that. So we'll get him next time, man. We're gonna definitely do that video, because this Hellcat looks exactly like my ZL1 color wise. It's red with carbon fiber, just how my ZL1 is, and I think that's just real cool, man. But that was just a crazy situation. And I wonder what's going on over here. Now people they be nosy. They be like, why everybody driving so slow? Then as they turn to look, they start driving mad fast. I mean, driving mad slow themselves. That's me right now. I was like, what's going on? Why everybody driving so slow? Then I get here, I'm driving ultra slow. Claw marks on the Charger is crazy. Nah, that's crazy though. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna invest in a dash cam. I recommend you guys do that as well, because you just want to make sure you're prepared for any of those crazy situations. Did y'all see that single cab Ram truck? I don't know if I turned my head quick enough, but that joint was cool. Well, I low-key need to get some gas too though, so we're gonna get ready to cut the video short, but because I got like 80 miles, which isn't enough for this car. But I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video, man. I appreciate y'all for watching.